right, I think I'm live. I'm just gonna treat this like a normal video, but if people join, they join. I feel like if people join, then it can kind of become like a dynamic video or like hang. But if not, no worries. I'll just treat this like a video, and I think we're gonna talk about guitar effects. So, I mean, to start off, I'm playing my Strat into a Helix LT, and then that is just going via XLR to my audio interface, which is being live streamed to YouTube. So I have HX Edit up, and in here I can basically put any effect on that I want. And I think I can share screen while I'm doing this. This is my first time ever going live, so I don't really know how to do this yet, so bear with me. I think I can share this. It looks like I'm sharing. Cool. So this is like my guitar chain here. It comes in. There's a wah and a volume that are connected to like the little volume pedal on the Helix LT, and then I have a drive. I have an heir apparent with not a lot of drive. But you can crank that up and get some more. Right, you can get a little bit more drive going. And then I have like what is this? Auto filter? Yeah, like a envelope filter, and then I'll just cycle through this stuff so you're not staring at the screen. But this is my I'm playing through a basement. And those are the settings for it. I like to dime my mids. And then this is my cab. And I got like the two different settings here for the mics. And then I have just like this EQ with it off and then with it on. It just kind of like brightens stuff. I'm gonna keep talking about. I don't want to like just share the HX edit window, but I just want to talk about some of the effects. So besides, I just showed you guys like the amp. What's up? Looks like there's what's up, Dwayne B? It says the screen is black. Dang, I thought I was sharing my screen. Was that not working? Oh man, I guess I'll find out when I watch this video after. But I'm playing through a basement on the Helix system. And what's up, Dwayne? Thanks for joining. I'm just hanging here. I'm playing through a basement. I'm playing through like a 412 cab. And the only thing I have right now is reverb. And so I have a dynamic plate. I don't know, Dwayne, do you want to be my guinea pig? Can I try it again, and you can type in the chat? Like, can you not see my screen when I share? What if I just share my entire screen? Oh shit. Oh god. Maybe that's not the move. Wait, can you see this if I bring up my HX edit? I'm going to keep powering forward and assume that you can. So this is my dynamic plate. It doesn't have a long decay. Well, maybe. I mean, 2.4 seconds is pretty long, but it can go up into infinity. So comparatively, I just really like the sound of a dynamic plate. And then it's pretty high. Well, I guess not. It's like 27%. Some damping. I don't like pre-delay on my reverbs. And then I don't like a lot of highs, so I cut the highs to around like 3,500 hertz. All right, let me stop sharing and see if I can go back. I don't know. Dwayne, could you see that? Was that worth it? Tell me, man. I guess worst case, I'll just describe, what I'm using, but it's a plate reverb. And I have two plate reverbs. I have one that's like normal length, and then what is this one? This one is 3.1 seconds, and it is a little bit higher mix, a little bit more damping. Dang. All right, so 2.7 seconds and 3.1 seconds to my ear has like a humongous difference. And then I can stack them. They're right next to each other in the chain for like super wet. So yeah, I mean that's sweet. Thanks, Dwayne. Thanks for being my guinea pig, man. I guess you guys can see it. So let me bring it back up because now I know it actually freaking works. I guess if I share my entire screen. Oh, the black hole, the wormhole. Okay. So this is what I was showing, man. It's like, okay, so 2.4 seconds with some less damping, and then 3.1 seconds with some more damping. I think that's like the only difference. And I like to have, the flexibility of my reverbs. But yeah, so besides just having the Tweed Blues Bright channel, which is like a bassman with the mids cranked, and then this 412 cab with these two different mics and a little bit of EQing. I guess the only other thing I have on here is a compressor. So let me turn that off. And then I'm gonna turn it back on. I'm only doing that because I'm in like digital land. I don't use a compressor when I'm playing through like a tube amp. These aren't doing anything, so I'll just delete these because I don't want to confuse anybody. But I only have this to like smooth out the digitalness of using a modeler, like what I'm doing. And then let's see, where's YouTube here? I have this cheap Monoprice amp right here. This thing was like $299, and at least it was before the tariffs. And then my friend, who's like a master tie-dyer, who also has done a lot of my tattooing that I play with in bands, Brian Mead, out of Humboldt. He's like a master tie-dyer, and he just did the cloth for me. But I play this thing with the mids all the way up, the bass all the way up, the tone all the way down, the treble at like 9 o'clock, and the volume. I'm just using it as like a tube slave, basically. So I don't think the gain on this thing sounds good at all, personally. I think it sounds awful. But and like it's like a cheap amp with like a PCB, like a cheap PCB board on the inside. So I'm not expecting a lot. I'm just using it as like a power amp for my modeler. And in the room, I think it sounds pretty great, which this mic is also picking up. So you're getting a direct sound from my Helix, and you're getting the mic that's picking up my voice here from the room. So you kind of have like a double echoey sound. Okay. So moving on, what are some other cool effects that I can show you guys that I use all the time? Here's my tone just dry. Which sounds pretty tasty in my opinion. I love using the position between the middle and the bridge. That's like my favorite spot to live. It's nice and bright, but it's not too like ice pick disaster zone. But I mean, to be fair, this isn't like a normal Strat, right? I have like a humbucker in the bridge. I think like a Texas Special, or whatever the hell this thing is, in the middle, and then like a sustainer humbucker in the neck. All right, cool. Let's get to more fun stuff. This is a delay. I got a crisscross. Let me share my screen and I can show you guys my crisscross. I mean, really, it's only special when you're playing in stereo, which I'm not right now. And you can see like this little symbol right here is for stereo. But it's like an asynchronous delay. I think blends better with your playing, so it's not this like, you know, dun type sound. And it pairs really well with distortion, man. And I'm gonna add some reverb. Right on. Yeah, that's a fun sound. Yeah, I've said this before. I think reverb adds like depth and delay adds like width. And when you use them together, that's how you can get like the infinite laser beam tone. Like David Gilmour. It helps when you're on a Strat neck pickup too. All right, this is all normal stuff. This is just regular old stuff that we're talking about here. I think we can get into more fun territory. Like if there's any Grateful Dead people out there that watch this after the fact. There's that envelope, the classic Jerry envelope. The only thing that's a little different about this, let me share my screen so you can see. Whoa, is I have this before the amp. Right now, it kind of gives a much more distorted, which you can hear. I can shift it so that it's after the amp and listen to this. A little thinner. I've noticed that using an envelope filter live through an actual amp sounds way more lively, and I would keep it in this configuration that you're looking at post amp if I were to play live into a tube amp. But because I'm going direct, I like it here because it just has more of that, like, I don't know, throaty thing. And so these are my settings here. You know, I got a low pass and the direction is up. If you go down, it's like that Dancing in the Streets 1977. You know, that sound, which probably sounds better after the amp. Nope, never mind. Okay. I thought it would sound better, but it totally doesn't. So this is that Jerry sound. What else we got in here? What other effects are fun? This is a retro reel. It's a little bit of like tape saturation. I think it's really nice, man. The retro reel. It has like this really nice warble to it. I honestly don't really use this effect that much. I only use it when I'm like recording, or if I just feel like this is, you know, I just want this vibe. A little bit of saturation, a little bit of warble. That's nice. Another really good one in the Helix system is the Ampeg liquefier, which I use this thing all the time. It's just instant 80s, like, what is that? Right? I also think it sounds really good with my SG. The one that I put into a lower tuning. I have to use a different patch. I can't use the Helix Bassman sound with it. It's a little too aggressive. I'll let you hear this. I mean, it still sounds good, but right? I mean, it still sounds good, but I changed it to like a Fullerton amp. It's just a little less like, gainy. I think it lets the SG, be a little bit more clear. Hey, thanks, Dwayne. Thanks for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate it. If it weren't for you, it'd just be me recording a video and then people watching this later. But it kind of feels like, we're hanging out a little bit. Also, like, Dwayne, feel free to ask questions in the chat and I'll like respond to them in real time, dude. But yeah, I've noticed that people really think chorus, especially the Ampeg liquefier with this guitar, maybe it's just a special sound because literally everybody that hears it is like, dude, that's sick. And I agree. It's a very special sound for sure. And I have to say that a lot of times I'm using the middle pickup when it's out of phase, which is these two, with one of them having the polarity reverse, It just adds a little bit more clarity. So I use a less gainy amp on the Helix, and then chorus, some reverb, and then out of phase, and that's how I'm getting this tone here. Which, yeah, is a really nice tone. And I can show you guys with the Strat too, the other Strat, my inverse Strat, because this thing's kind of weird. I mean, I'm not totally sold on where's my Strat, on how this thing is set up. Like I have these DiMarzio Aerism pickups in here, and they don't sound very like transparent or organic or what I'm used to. Like, I'll show you guys in real time here. Like when you're on the neck or the bridge, it's kind of this like weird, like almost muted. But then if I go to the 2 or the 4, it's a lot brighter. Okay, that's a killer sound. And I'm just using the chorus again. But let me go back to the Bassman with the Ampeg liquefier, and I'm going to put on both my reverbs and a delay. Killer. We got Lance Schneider. What's up, Lance? How's it going, man? Thanks for hanging. Like I said to Dwayne, dude, if you want to ask me stuff in real time via chat, let me know, dude. Ask me something, I'll respond. This is a hang, Oh, cool, Dwayne. If you had to start back over and learning how to play guitar, what would your practice schedule look like? I mean, if I was starting like literally from the very, very beginning, I have to go back to my Strat because all these other guitars are just toys. Cool sounding toys, but this is my real instrument. This is like my pride and joy, and it's just a normal fucking guitar. So the first thing that I would do, I lucked out, man. I started doing the right thing because I wanted to be cool and copy somebody, but it just happened to be serendipitous and be the correct thing. And that was starting on really light gauge strings. I started on 8s. because Zappa did it. I just read in a forum that, or whatever, that Zappa did it, and I was like, oh, I love Zappa. I want to do that too. But why that's important is, let me turn off some of these effects, is bending, man. I think bending is like the most important thing for a guitar player. It's like one of the most unique characteristics of guitar that sets it apart from other instruments. And I think you can play guitar and not do bending, but the things that a lot of us gravitate towards, especially with lead playing, is bends. And by starting on eights, I could really practice getting them into pitch. Every time you bend anywhere on the neck, it should be in pitch, like perfectly in pitch. And if you want to go up a minor third, you should be able to bend like that on command, just like Dave, Mr. Gilmore does. So that's one of the first things. The other thing is just pentatonics, man. And like I've said in some other videos, like learning to play not like that, playing pentatonic horizontally. Like, to me, that sounds completely different than, right? Learn how to play your scales horizontally and don't focus on doing it vertically, because I mean that will happen, and when you play chords, I think that'll naturally come together. But if you don't force yourself to think horizontally, that may never happen. And then if you don't do that, you can't play like I'm playing vertically and horizontally at the same time, So I think those are the two things that I would do if I started over from scratch. Pentatonic horizontally, play lighter strings, and get really good at pitch control. Also, dude, I have never said this in a video ever, but I learned the hard way by being an idiot with amps. And like, on a couple other videos, I've said like, maybe just passively, I was like, oh, I got this in high school. And I get kind of grilled for it because people are like, man, this guy's first guitar was an SG. That's not true. My first guitar was a $50 Johnson. I've never even seen a Johnson since then. And then I bought my friend's $400 Mexican Strat after I've been playing for about a year. And once I kind of caught the guitar bug, I saved up all my money from working at Walgreens at the freaking cigarette counter. And I bought the SG. And along with the savings that I had saved up, I was like, I need a really good amp. So I got an Egnator Renegade, really fancy. It was like, at the time, like $1,200. And this is like late 2000s, maybe like early, like 2011 or something like that. But this is the crux of the story I'm trying to tell you. The thing that I learned the hard way was I loved Grateful Dead. I wanted to play loud and clean. Nobody had ever taught me how to use an amp. I'm self-taught, and this was like the early days of YouTube, and I just didn't look it up. But I didn't know the difference between volume and master volume. So I used to crank the volume and keep the master volume low. And I would be like, dude, this amp sucks. It's so distorted. I can't get a good tone from it. And I sold it because I was like, I can't do it. It wasn't until I got like a single channel Fender DeVille where like all you have is a master volume or whatever, like a Fender amp. You don't have a master and a volume, that I started to figure out that I had it completely backwards. If you want to play loud and clean, turn your master all the way up, make your power tubes work really hard, and then feather in your gain or your volume on the preamp. That's how you get loud, clean tone. If you want distorted at lower volume, that's when you dime. So that's something I had to learn the hard way that cost me thousands of dollars. But and so if I could go back in time, I would teach myself that stuff, right? But I'm not mad that that happened, because that's how you learn. It was an expensive lesson, but now like I have a much better understanding of amps and tone, and now I'm doing the same thing virtually. I'm modeling it, and I literally just have this tube amp with the gain all the way down, and I'm using it as a power tube slave, just like what I talked about. I just want it to be loud and clean. I don't want it to, you know, color or characterize the tone. So that was a big long explanation. Thanks, Dwayne, for asking, man. I like doing that. Lance, first video I caught was the baritone mod. Channel is sick. Thanks, dude. Planning on doing something similar. Nice. Yeah. I'm glad I shared that video, man. I definitely got some heat for it by calling it a mod, which whatever. I don't really have a strong opinion on it, but there are guitar purists out there that will hate and shame you for doing stuff to your guitar. But I say, fuck it. Sorry, I'm cussing. They're just tools, man. Do whatever the hell you want. They're your instruments, you know, and I made something sick with that thing. I'm really glad that I did it. I still think it needs a little bit of work. Its intonation isn't perfect, just like how that thing isn't perfect. And my Telecaster, basically everything except for this, I need to do something too. It was just luck that where I, you know, by putting a new neck on here, getting some brass saddles, and getting rid of this volume here, that it turned out to be exactly what I wanted. This thing stays in tune better than any guitar I've ever played ever. I adore this guitar. If anything were to happen to this thing, I would be very upset. And I've come to, you know, learn how to really like learn how to use the infinite sustain on here, man. Like it's become a really big part of or like a really important tool for me to always have in my bag. Do you know how cool that is as a guitar player to like just be able to just have infinite sustain? It's dope. Anywho, what's going on with switches, phases, the SG is super sick. Frick the purist. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, the switches. Okay, so this is just an on-off. All right, so this is a sustainer pickup, and this is the bridge pickup, and they're basically like wired together in a way. And when I turn it on, even if I'm in the neck position here, if I turn this on, I'm now in the bridge pickup. You can hear that. And when it's on, it's creating like a magnetic loop between like a cycle between these two pickups. To create infinite sustain, but it's not like a hoax type of thing. It like is actual like physics, you know, like electromagnetic spectrum stuff. And so because of the frequency of a string or of a certain note, not all notes ring out the same. That one's a really good one. It just wants to vibrate. That one's kind of dead. That one wants to go. Sometimes it's like I view it like a rock rolling downhill. Some of them, they just take off and go, and the note just sustains forever, and others just die out. But then this other switch, I think, so when it's all the way up, it's just a sustained note. Like it's pure tone, like the pure note. But then in the middle, it adds an octave up with the normal. And then when it's all the way down, which I don't think that ever works. I never hear it change. I don't hear a difference. But then when it's all the way down, woo, it goes to that octave. Can you hear that? You have to be able to hear it. It's like a fucking mosquito. Which can be really cool for like recording. Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, it's crazy, right? right. Well, so yeah, there's more people here now, but if you guys want to ask me stuff while I'm playing, please do, and I'll talk about it. But I'm just going through some random effects here, and I think the last one on this preset that I have is just a tremolo. So yeah, the Ampeg liquefier, amazing sound. I will say that it took me like 15 years before I actually played a chorus and just embraced the chorus. I don't know why I always assumed or associated chorus with like really cheesy stuff, or like, you know, for some reason, whenever I listen to metal guitar players and they play clean, they always have a chorus on. And so that was like my association. But as I've gotten older and my taste has grown different, you know, I'm 30 now and I've been playing guitar since I was 13. Your taste just changes over time, and bands like the Police have really grown on me. And I just love that sound. And so in that same vein, this chorus here, I had just put off playing with tremolo. I just didn't view it as like an effect that really like spoke to me. But in the past like couple years, I've just started to realize, especially like if you're playing in like a band or you're playing with a singer, it can take a lot of the highs out, and you can really blend. You can blend a lot better in a band context, and it's just nice and mellow. And so I can show you what I can share my screen here on the Helix system. Here's that Ampeg liquefier. If you guys really like my sound and you want to copy the settings or whatever, I don't mind sharing any of this stuff with you guys. It's all fair game. Here's it's a 60s bias trem. And it's not even on the tremolo setting, it's on the vibrato. I like the vibrato setting. You know, you can do the James Bond chord. All right, let me go through some other presets here. I have some other crazier stuff going on that I can talk about. Okay, this is a big one for me. I'll share my screen. This is a phaser. Dwayne, I see your question. I'll answer it in just one sec. Let me just talk about this phaser, because I'm about to put out a video of, I covered the live Bob Marley, No Woman, No Cry. And Bob Marley, like in the Wailers, the live album is like one of my favorite albums of all time. And this is like how I can get that nice, like only like well, it says 8 stages here. Wait a minute. Sorry, this is the different phaser. This is, well, maybe I like the 8 stage instead of like a 2 stage. Yeah, there's way more character in the 8 stage. Well, let me turn that off. Goodness gracious. I love phasers. I think phasers are like one of the unsung guitar effect heroes that people don't talk about. Like, yes, Eddie Van Halen had a crazy phaser sound, but listen to the live album, Bob Marley Live, and listen to Al Anderson's playing. It's insane. His guitar playing is amazing. And he has a phaser going on the whole time. It doesn't like color your sound too much. Phasers are dope. Okay, Dwayne, how did you get started doing mods? The first mod that I did, I mean, I view any change to a guitar that's not stock, I view that as a mod, because you're modifying your guitar. I know that people have stricter definitions of what a mod is, But the first thing that I did was that Mexican Strat that I was telling you guys about that I got. I changed out the bridge pickup for a DiMarzio. And so that was like the first mod I ever did. And I was 14 when I did that. And it did not have as big of an impact as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like some big crazy thing. It was not. It did not solve my problems or do anything crazy for me. But it was like the beginning of me understanding that you can do stuff to your guitar. I think the first mod that I did that was like a more traditional mod was on the SG, which I mean now looks completely different, obviously. But at the time, it was just a normal SG, and I put in that EMG booster into this thing, and I can talk about it and show you guys this EMG booster. And so it now has this little pot in the back. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's like this little potentiometer right there that allows me to control how much gain is being output by it. So let me turn this to the. Okay. So that's with it on. This is without it. On, off. So it's just like a little bit. It's like a little bit more gain and clarity because it changes the impedance of the signal. I mean more switch mods. Yeah. So these switches, yeah. So that was like the first mod I did was the booster. And then there was this gentleman named, he had a company called Moonstone Guitars. I'm up in Humboldt County, California, up near the Oregon border. And there was a gentleman that he owned this company called Moonstone Guitars. And I think this was like another Zappa thing. I had read that he liked to play out of phase. I love Zappa. I'm a huge Zappa guy. And I think it must have been like forums or something, but I read that you can put in a switch. I'm not an electrical engineer, but you can put in a switch to change the polarity of a pickup. And so I asked him to do it, and it took him like a week or two, but he figured it out. So, and I have this in one of my videos, but so I'm in my treble here in the neck position. If I flip it, nothing happens. If I'm in the bridge pickup, you can hear that, right? It's just crazy. It's a crazy sound, but it's just flipping the polarity. It's not changing the tone. But when I'm in the middle, this is my normal middle sound. And you flip the polarity, boom, it knocks it out of phase. So that's these switches here. The switches on my Strat, those are stock because that's an Ed O'Brien Stratocaster. It's like an artist model. So that came with it. The only other switch I have is on my Telecaster. And then this is the same exact thing. Hey, I don't know how to pronounce that name. It's just like a bunch of symbols in a row, but what's up? What gauge strings do I use on my Strat? I use 11s on all my guitars, except for the baritone one, obviously. It's a 15 for the E and for the B. But for the top string, it's a 15. The next one's a 20, and then the rest is the strings that come in the Diodario Chrome 7-string set. I don't have them all memorized, but I play 11s. I play elixirs typically because I find that other strings, for some reason, the intonation goes bad over time. And so if I like fret a note versus playing it open, they're wildly different from each other. But for some reason, elixirs, I don't have that problem. Anywho, so on the Telecaster, I flip the electronics around. Usually this is up here, and So when I flipped it around, I made this the volume and this the tone, and then we stamped in another one of these boosters. You can hear the difference. Right? And then this is technically a mod, but it's just a hip shot B bender. You basically just like screw it in where your strap button goes, but then you put a couple extra screws on the side. But I need to do some more mods to this thing. Like I think I need to, I don't know if I can show you guys this. I'm going to try. It doesn't have enough of a break angle here. So what I need to do is like cut into this ashtray bridge so that it doesn't sit on this edge here. And I need to get like a string tree and like force it down or something. I don't know. I need to work with the luthier on that. I'm not very kinesthetically, or like I'm not a builder at all. But that I don't have enough of a break angle, so I don't have great sustain on my B string. It gets kind of like fretted out sounding, which just might be my Telecaster in general. Whoop. This thing's like a kicking mule, man. It's hard. It's hard to wrestle this thing, but it does one thing that none of my other guitars do. And that's when I have this rod. You can stick this rod in here. Let's see. It's bent differently, so. And then now I can use my hip. Right? And I got instant country going on. There it is, man. That's the Telecaster. I'm seeing some more comments here. Let me switch back to my Strat. The good old Stratocaster, man. Wow, 11 is amazing. Thanks, man. I worked up from 8s over 18 years. I don't think I'm ever going to go heavier than 11s. I do have to say, I have stainless steel jumbo frets on this guitar and the Telecaster, and that actually helps with bending a lot. It makes 11s feel more like 10.5s. Did you drill out a hole for the strap button? Yes, I did. I don't think I've talked about this in any video, but I grew up playing an SG, and I got so used to how it sits on my body that I had to do with literally every other guitar. So that Strat and that Telecaster, they also have a strap button drilled out right there, because of how it sits. When I have a strap button that's here, the guitar tends to rock backwards like that, and it just kills my wrist. I'm just not used to that. So I don't have it there. I have it here, and it has better center of gravity for me. It's more in the centroid of the mass, you know? And the way it sits, I kind of like having it up, and my wrist, it just makes my wrist feel better. Because I do play a lot standing up with like bands. All right, well, if nobody has any other questions, there's some other cool effects I want to show you guys. I never got a chance to make a video about it. Oh, I never thought about that. I also put stainless steel jumbos on my Strat, and it's pretty nuts how smooth they are. Yeah, totally, dude. And the luthier that, no, dude, please blow up the chat. I love hanging out. Like, please talk to me. I love this. the dude that worked on my Strat, he basically said he'd never do stainless steel frets ever again because it ruined his tools. And I felt bad for him, but he did an amazing job. This is by far the most killer guitar I've ever had. So I can only feel so bad. So yeah, what I was saying is, in that baritone mod video that has gotten a little bit of traction, I was playing straight into a vintage Rockman headphone amplifier, and okay, dude, when Dwayne asked one thing I would do over again, if I could go back in time, I would show myself that, dude, the Rockman sounds fucking amazing for how old it is and what it is. That thing should not sound that good. The only thing that is wrong with it is that it doesn't have high like output, so it's pretty noisy. But my God, the recorded distortion sound from a vintage Rockman, I still crave that sound. And so I just posted that Queen video where I did Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy, and it's a really like kind of like nasally distorted tone. And it was me using, I believe, this. It's like super, not tube screamy, but like it has that filtered Brian May sound. And this is just the Helix trying to emulate the Rockman's distortion. But what is happening right now, wanting to shred, that's what the Rockman made me want to do. When I played the Rockman, the distortion on it, it just made me want to just fucking like go to like Van Halen. So yeah, I wish. Geez, what pedal? What's up, man? I'm talking about a vintage Rockman. I don't have it on me. I'm just trying to emulate it on the Helix. But I was talking about I had one for a little bit and then it broke, and it was amazing. And people really loved that direct chorus sound that I got with it. I was playing the chorus on the SG in that video, and people loved it. All right, I gotta wrap this up because I got somebody coming over to my house very shortly here. But let me see. Can I very quickly show you guys some other fun little tone here? What else do I have, man? I think I have the synth tone that I want to show you guys. Is this it? No, that's just pitch. This is just a simple, which is not that interesting. The res synth. I had a video about The Who, and I used this tone for a little bit, and people were like, dude, what is that tone? I'll share my screen in the Helix zone so you can see it. Entire screen. Oh, God. Here's the Helix, and I'm using a little bit of distortion with it. Here's the res synth. Yeah. I don't know. Man, we've been hanging out for almost an hour. It's fun. I guess I'll hang out until that person gets here, but that's kind of all I really wanted to share with you guys, is like a bunch of different effects. I think I like doing this live thing, man. Getting all the comments in here, this is fun. I'm getting stoked. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, which is pretty fun. I want it to grow so that if we do like live things like this, maybe like every Sunday we can have a hangout or something, like a live lesson or something. That'd be super fun. Wait, what does it say? I'd love to come back. I just ill sub almost at 1K. I'm close, man. Thanks, Lance. Thanks for hanging out, man. Anybody have any final questions before I log off for the day on this happy Sunday? All these different tones, man. The worst loop ever, you guys. Oh yeah, here, I'll show you that real quick. I'm running out of time, man. I have to go to my other I have to go to my bedroom. Hold on one second. Of course, man. Of course. I studied a lot of bluegrass, and this thing is not in tune at all. It's a parlor guitar that I have beaten up a lot, taken to the beach and stuff. It was only like $700 when I got it in 2017. I was driving through Bend, Oregon, and I just randomly went to this guitar store and I played this Eastman. It's an Eastman E10P, and I was honestly blown away at its tone. The tone is on this thing is insane. Whoops. Yeah, so this is my acoustic. It's very small. It's not very loud, but its tone is really gorgeous. Did you do any ear training? Not like... Oh, I gotta go, you guys. I haven't done any ear training like sitting and listening to specific intervals, but just listening to music and like hearing a sound and trying to find its pitch on a guitar is really important. But I gotta go, guys. So thank you. Much love. See you again soon.